Fun day yesterday, huh? I launched 2 videos, and one of them was not traditionally the type of videos that I do on the channel. So if you haven't caught those, please go catch them. But today I'm talking about Source Adage, a house from New York State, and they have 4 fragrances, and they're very dark fragrances to me. The experiences are very dark. The bottles totally represent the experiences for me, but I'm going to tell you all about them. I'm not going to tell you the names now, they're a little complicated to say, but there's 4 of the fragrances. One I'm absolutely in love with, really loving the smell. Another one that I really like, and then 2 of them unfortunately did not work out for me. They started out great, but they kind of ended up becoming aquatic, like there's an overdose of Kayon in the notes. So either way, I'll let you know all about them. And then Source Adage is sponsoring one lucky subscriber of this channel to win all fragrances in 10 ml rollers. So if you want to find out about Source Adage's fragrances, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. So yes, today I'm talking about Source Adage. The fragrances are in black bottles like these, 50 ml bottles. They're very indie niche for me, more indie than niche. The fragrances are not necessarily mass market to me. That's my experience with them. And they also are very dark. So if you like indie perfumery, if you like fragrances that are non-traditional, none of the fragrances are, you know, very... Like, I would never see these fragrances being sold at someplace like Macy's or something. So they're a little different than your typical perfumes that are the mass market perfumes, which is not a bad thing because I like these kind of fragrances. And as I said, one of them I'm really in love with, really enjoy the fragrance a lot. Another one that I really like, and 2 of them unfortunately just didn't work on me because they kind of went aquatic. And I'm very sensitive to aquatic fragrances, especially ones that use Kayon. And even though the 2 that didn't work for me don't mention that there's Kayon in the notes, I am so sensitive to it, I picked it up. Either way, I'll let you know about these fragrances and have your chance at winning them in 10 ml rollers. But before I get to the fragrances, if this is your first time tuning into my channel and you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So I do want to say that if I never like a fragrance, that doesn't mean you shouldn't check them out. It's just there are some notes that I can't deal with or they don't work for me. So it's all very subjective. So I know a lot of you follow me and you end up, looking into the fragrances that I like, but don't dismiss some of the fragrances I don't like because it's just some things don't work for me. And for me, aquatics are very challenging, and especially aquatics that have this note of Kayon. And it could be Kayon or it could be something similar to it, but I'm so sensitive to it. That's why the 2 of the fragrances that I'm going to leave till the end just did not work out for me. But one of them really did. But before I get to the fragrance though, let me give you some details about the fragrances. They come in 50 ml bottles. They're Eau de Parfum concentration. These are the bottles right here. And they are $160 for 50 ml. 10 ml rollers are $40. They also sell 1.5 ml samples on their website for $6. And also want to say these fragrances were sent to me not necessarily for this review. I did an Instagram post for them some time ago, and it's been like two and a half years now. But I decided to contact them and say, you know what, I'd love to do a video on your house. Never spoken about them. Well, at least I've spoken about one of their fragrances on the channel, but I wanted to do a video about their house and have you guys find out about, new houses. So today that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to start with my favorite fragrance from the lot. It's called KEYON, this one right here. So it's a 2016 launch, and I would call this an woody aromatic fragrance. Now this one features notes of juniper, spearmint, apple, fir, cedar, and amber. So this is my favorite fragrance. It's like being in a Christmas tree forest. It smells like Christmas tree, literally smells like Christmas tree. Just imagine getting a fresh Christmas tree, bringing it at home, putting it up, and you're sitting next to it and you're just looking at it, and then all of a sudden the smells are hitting your nose. That's the kind of experience I get with this one. Or just imagine you're in a forest with Christmas trees, it's cold outside, things like that, and you're like in the aroma of these trees, very, very fragrant trees. Absolutely in love with the way this one smells. I just like that whole Christmas tree kind of a smell, the pine forest smell and all that kind of stuff. But you know, when I'm wearing the fragrance, there's some fruitiness in here. That's the unique thing about this one. The apple fruitiness comes through, and so it makes for a little more of an interesting wear than, you know, just smelling the Christmas trees. You know, just imagine bringing that Christmas tree home and you're sitting next to it and crunching on an apple, and you're smelling the tree and the apple together. That's what I'm getting with this one, and that's why it's my favorite. It's really, really wonderful. I've always loved the smell of Christmas trees and woods and forests and things like that, and this one definitely captures it with that apple note that's thrown in. That's kind of like, you know, a small curveball, because it doesn't get overly fruity, but you can totally pick up the apples in here. Wonderful. It's a green apple kind of smell, like a Granny Smith kind of apple, something like that. But you know, I don't want to get to the technicalities of the apple, but it's a great, great release. Those of you that like this kind of like pine forest, woodsy fragrances, I highly recommend you try this one. So this is called KEYON, but I do want to read one little message that's written on their website. I took a lot of notes from their website. This KEYON is from the Ahtna language of southern Alaska, meaning new moon. KEYON is a complex fragrance of both warm woodland and fresh Arctic accords. So it's definitely capturing that smell really, really wonderfully. I really do like this one, so I hope you guys get to check it out. So we'll move on to the next one. So the next fragrance is their most recent fragrance called Ikana. The names are very interesting for me, definitely different languages, but this is a 2019 launch. It's considered a woody, spicy fragrance. The notes feature grapefruit zest, lime, pink pepper, cardamom, coconut, and musk. So with this one, let me read you the little detail before I tell you about the fragrance. Originating from the Choctaw language of the southeast, meaning enlightened, Ikana is inspired by warm summer breezes emanating from the Florida Keys and Caribbean. So that definitely paints a picture of what the kind of fragrance this is, but you know what? For me, it almost, I don't know why I'm visualizing this. The description makes sense, but I'm almost experiencing a very, very warm summer day that's gray and overcast, and you're having this kind of like a cool breezes clashing with warm breezes. But what I'm getting with this one is lots of cardamom. It's a cardamom bomb right when you spray it. Like, I mean, I pick up a little bit of the grapefruit zest, but the cardamom pretty much takes over. For me, also, cardamom is like an overly spicy note, very, very aromatic, but also very woody. So there's very, very woody touches with this particular one. But the lime comes in, and slight pink pepper spiciness comes in. But then the coconut kind of throws a little curveball with the musk, and that's kind of why I felt like the coconut takes me to a more like a breezy, breezy and warm combo kind of a day together to give me this kind of like an effect. Especially when I'm wearing this fragrance, that's what I was experiencing with the fragrance. So I was always visualizing a gray day, but warm and cool breezes hitting my face in this kind of a setting. But I like this one because of its pungency of the cardamom with the combination of the grapefruit zest and the juiciness of the lime, but also the pink pepper spiciness and coconut and musk together. So I really do enjoy this one. But as I said, my favorite is KEYON. It's such a great interpretation of the Christmas tree pine forest kind of a setting, but this one definitely is coming close because of that very, very intense cardamom note that I really, really like. If you like cardamom fragrances, definitely check this one out for its woody, spicy qualities. So that's Ikana. This is their latest fragrance, launched in 2019. So the last two fragrances from source Adage, I'm equally tying together because both of them started out really, really great. And that's what I like about these fragrances. They're overly intense experiences, but also quite dark experiences. But I'm going to talk to you about Monto Ac first, Monto Ac. So this one is from Croatoan dialect of the Carolina Algonquians, meaning great spirit. Monto Ac is an inspiriting fragrance of coastal hillside and forest floor accords. So as you heard the coastal hillside, and it makes sense that they're using a note similar to, Kayon in here to give it that kind of aquatic marine smell. And for me, when I was wearing it, it was overwhelming, and I'm just not very fond of this particular note. As a lover of perfume, it doesn't work for me. But Monto Ac is a 2017 launch. It's considered a woody aromatic fragrance. The notes featured in here are silver sage, grape, oak moss, tobacco leaf, leather, and musk. But for me, this one's interesting. As soon as you spray it, it reminds me of Comme des Garçons incense Zagorsk. Not sure why, because I don't see the notes acting like that from what the notes are credited to this, but it reminds me of this kind of like a very woody pencil shavings kind of a smell. But the more you wear it, the aquatic marine notes are just blooming and then blooming and blooming, and it didn't really satisfy. It's almost like to the point of going into like a aquatic marine animalic kind of a territory where it just wasn't working for me. It could be that they're using Kayon, it could be that they're using some kind of an ambergris, but it just didn't work for me, unfortunately. But you know what? For you guys, it might. I know a lot of you love aquatic fragrances. This is a very dark experience for me, though, as an aquatic or marine kind of a fragrance. Either way, Monto Ac is a fragrance launched in 2017. Check it out if you are curious to learn more about this one. I have a link to their website in the info box where you can go. And the very last fragrance I'm talking to you about today, and as I said, they're both equally tied because both of them ended up going aquatic on me, overly aquatic. But AKAULA is the fourth fragrance I'm speaking about today. And this one was launched with KEYON initially. I believe they launched 2 fragrances in 2016, one in 2017 and one in 2019. But AKAULA is a woody spicy fragrance, and it's named by the Hawaiian word meaning red sunset or red shadow. AKAULA is an intriguingly intense fragrance of volcanic smoke and island spice accords. This one features notes of ginger, vetiver, pineapple leaf, oud, vanilla, coffee, and smoke. So this one actually starts off smelling great. It's ultra smoky, overdose of smoke. And I like it here. I love it in combination with that kind of zingy ginger note with the vetiver. And then, of course, pineapple leaf. What does pineapple leaf smell like? I'm assuming it's something like similar to, ivy leaves or similarities. It definitely has some green touches. There's oud in here as well. Light coffee and vanilla comes in, not a lot, but as I said, it starts off smelling really, really great with the smokiness, and then it just goes into the aquatic direction, which I can understand once again with the inspiration of this fragrance. Volcano, Hawaii, near the ocean or the water and things like that. So it makes sense that they would use a note that would, smell like something marine or aquatic. So sadly, both of the last 2 fragrances, Monto Ac and AKAULA, start out great, but for me, because I'm so sensitive to this note or something similar to this note, it wasn't working with my body chemistry. So those are those 2 fragrances, but I highly recommend KEYON. Loved it, really, really loved it. I would, think like anytime you want the smell of Christmas, this is it right here. Just keep in mind that the green apple note comes in and it sweetens things up a little bit. And then of course, Ikana is also a great fragrance featuring cardamom. If you like cardamom, you should check that one out. So those are my thoughts on these 4 fragrances from Source Adage. Guys, do you know this house? Do you know anything about them? They are from New York State. I have a link in the info box, as I said, to their website. You can go check out their fragrance. They have some great visuals for their products on their website, so I highly recommend you go check out and learn more about them. But now to the giveaway. We have 4 rollers, one of each of the fragrances discussed here in 10 ml that Source Adage is is sponsoring, and all you have to do is let me know what you thought about this video. Put a comment down. Also let me know which fragrance sounds the best to you. Lastly, put your state. This is a USA giveaway, and Source Adage will be shipping the giveaway prize to one lucky subscriber of this channel. Make sure you're subscribed. I'm checking for those now. Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Do let me know if you've sampled the fragrances from Source Adage. I'd like to find out who knows about them. Either way, I appreciate you tuning in today. Please do like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.